Hey, gorgeous people. So I just want to do this Facebook Live. I was talking to an old friend of mine this morning, and I was talking about CBD. And CBD is for me. Say it with me, CBD is for me. So I was talking to my friend this morning, and he said this to me, which I thought was just so interesting. And you guys tell me if you think it's right, wrong, or what your feelings are. As you know, I have recently learned about the endocannabinoid system. Most people don't nourish theirs, and I mean, it's one of the few things, the CBD, that can heal your stomach. So, I mean, if you have friends or family members that has bad with Crohn's, colitis, IBS, ulcerative colitis, you shouldn't be walking to this. You should be sprinting to this, okay? I can only tell you firsthand what it's done with my own family. Truett, the word calm comes to mind morning and evenings now. Calm. Truett is calm. And Truett is a lot like me. He's really not that calm. And so now when he's doing homework and working on schoolwork, he can sit and he can focus. And my friend Jen Lynn Long this morning, she posted a picture of her son's handwriting. And I could relate because Truett's letters are up, down. And sometimes I say, you need to write smaller. And he's like, Mom, I can't write that small. And he wants to write big. And anyway, long story short, he was really like struggling like with just school and paying attention, and I feel like it's helping him, you guys. It's helping my son, and it's noticeable. And guess what? We're only like about 20 days in of this stuff, so I can't even imagine how it's going to actually change the course of his health and his life, and just so that he doesn't have that craziness, because I understand that because I am ADHD, where you just cannot shut it down or slow it down or turn it off. And thank God we didn't medicate, because I am not about medication when it comes to ADHD, because a lot of the medications, most of the medications, will actually cause heart problems long term. Hey, you guys probably should share this on your wall. You're going to need to know what I'm about to say, because it's so powerful that everybody needs to hear it. So I just recently learned about the endocannabinoid system, and if you don't know anything about it, just Google it. Google it. Just Google endocannabinoid system. I mean, sound it out to spell it out, right? It's kind of difficult to spell, but you'll get it. Anyway, just Google endocannabinoid system, and then what the cannabinoid system needs is cannabinoids, and we've been deficient since the Marijuana Tax Act in 1937. Now, let's just go there for a second. Now, here, I'm going to tell you the honest to God truth. I've never smoked pot in my life. And some of you may or may not believe that. Some of you think she probably should have been smoking pot because it would have slowed her down, because pot has a tendency to slow you down. I've never smoked marijuana, never smoked pot my whole life. I did, though, smoke a lot of Marlboro Reds, which were full of poisons and chemicals. For 10 years, I smoked Marlboro Reds. I did, on the other hand, drink boatloads of Diet Coke, which is full of aspartame, which is linked to symptoms of MS. I did, on the other hand, consume large amounts of sugar, which has been proven now to cause cancer. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I've done it all wrong, and that's the only reason I can even talk about doing things right, because when you know better, you get to do better. When you know better, you get to do better. And so I've never smoked pot, never smoked weed. Like, I was pretty much anti-weed and smoking pot and all these things. Here's what I got to tell you. There's a major difference between marijuana that has a lot of THC in it, which is usually 20% or greater in marijuana, and hemp, which hemp is mostly CBD, especially if it's grown from the mature stalk of a plant grown in Europe, which is what Kannaway's product is, which is so awesome. But let's just go here for a second. This is my conversation with my buddy this morning. This is so good. It's going to get you guys all thinking. I don't like that light. It's so bright right there. He said this. He said to me, Renita, how many people have got drunk, driven drunk, and killed somebody? I'm like, a lot. He said, how many people have got drunk and went home and beat their wives? And I said, I think a lot of arguments happen when people are drinking. Probably a lot on that one too, right? People get hammered and they do stupid stuff and they don't even remember it. And you even hear people killed people and they don't even remember it because they were so drunk, right? So intoxicated. So let's just think about that for a second. We know that alcohol can literally cause problems. In excess, it's terrible, right? Another thing is sugar. We know that sugar is now linked to cancer. We know that sugar reduces our immune system. Hey, listen, this is not something I'm thinking. For every teaspoon of sugar you put into your mouth, it reduces your cute little white blood cell count by 500. Your white blood cell count is your immune system. And so if you eat enough sugar, which is everything turns to sugar pretty much if you're eating breads, People say, eat grains. Run from the grains. Run from a lot of those grains, especially the white refined grains. My goodness gracious. Maybe some quinoa is fine once in a while. Maybe a little sweet potato and brown rice once in a while. Maybe a little oats once in a while. But it shouldn't be like a daily, day in and out thing. So here's the deal. Sugar kills. But yet it's everywhere. It's being consumed everywhere. It's on every store shelf. It's everywhere. Alcohol actually can kill, because what happens is people go home, drink, and they do stupid things like kill themselves. I've recently heard of a story, unfortunately, just a tragic story of a family where a guy and his wife, they got in a fight, and he went home and he actually killed himself. And so that is awful. That's terrible. That's awful. And so the reality is this is happening. My friend said to me, do you think marijuana, he said, have you ever heard of somebody like getting stoned and like going home and beating somebody? He said, usually what happens when people smoke pot, which I don't know because I've never smoked pot, he says, is people like calm down. He's like, it slows them down. If the speed limit's 55, they drive like 40. And he says, they talk slower, they move slower. It kind of mellows you out. It doesn't make you want to go home and be an aggressor. And he said, so think about this, and he was talking in relation to alcohol. He's like, people go and drink all the time and then go do these stupid things and can kill themselves, kill others. And it's like, and we still are allowing alcohol, right? And I think of sugar because I've been in health and I believe in PFC every 3. Now I believe in PFC CBD, right? Anyway, the bottom line is when you're doing, when you're eating all that sugar, it reduces your immune system. I mean, how many diseases are now linked to too much sugar consumption? Not just diabetes, but from everything, from metabolic syndrome to, everything, hypertension. Everything is linked to poor sugar, but yet we sell it. We sell it in everything. It's up and down the store shelves. It's at every church service. They're giving you donuts. It's unbelievable. It's just like people are like, I have to snap out of it. So I said, you got the cigarette smoking, which we know kills, because I smoked for 10 years and I know it's just awful for you. And that's still actually, cigarettes are FDA approved as far as I know. The FDA, Food and Drug Administration, hasn't come out and said, we can't sell cigarettes anymore. They just have to put that Surgeon General report on there that says it might cause cancer. Well, it hasn't curbed the buying is what I'm saying. So everyone's still smoking. Everyone's still eating tons of sugar in their diet, which is causing all kinds of disease. It's literally costing our country trillions of dollars just with the healthcare systems alone. We could talk about that all day. And then there's alcohol, which, like I said, alcohol sometimes, in some cases, people make terrible decisions. There's car accidents. They go home and beat their wives. It's just crazy stuff happens when you have too much to drink, right? People don't even remember things or what happened the night before. Okay, so I'm thinking to myself, all of those things are legal in our country. Have you ever thought about this? They're all legal, right? The alcohol, the smoking, the sugar that's everywhere. And we know all 3 of those are linked in some way, shape, or form to death. To killing, to whatever. It's going to kill us eventually. But yet they're all sold. Get this, you guys. And then opioids. I can't even talk about opioids. My friend Christy Schmidt last night posted on her Facebook wall, in one little county, in one little city, the average person that they prescribed per person for whatever it was, a 6 or 7 year period, was 6,300 pills per person. 6,300 pills. Opioids, guys, the mind-altering stuff, it's killing your livers, it's killing your kidneys, it's killing our bodies, and they're freaking writing prescriptions like it's going out of style, right? Because everybody just, when they take that opioid, it goes ding, and turns it on. Here's the truth. You have opioid receptors in your brain, but you know what you have more of in your brain? CBD receptors. Say it with me. CBD receptors. Hey, Connie. CBD receptors in your brain and in your gut. And what those 2 things do are incredible. So if you have not Googled it, you need to get your head in the game and stop living ignorant and get educated about your own health, because you are the bearer of your health. The doctor's not. If you're waiting for somebody else to take care of your health, boy, you're going to be dead. Because the bottom line is, at the end of the day, we've got to become responsible for our health. We've got to be our own health advocates. Are you guys understanding this? CBD receptors, yes, we got that in the brain and in the gut. And what those CBD that we have, and they're 10 times, 100 times greater than the opioid receptors. And what the CBD receptors do is when you nourish them with the CBD, which in some states there's controversy. The fact that there's even controversy should tell you what's going on in America right now. Why would something that is grown from a plant that is completely healing? I mean, just go to echoconnection.org. If you don't believe me, just go to echoconnection.org. I mean, go to echoconnection.org and click on cancer. 7 swipes of CBD and how it's actually been shown to heal, prevent cancer, tumors. It's unbelievable. And that's not a claim. Just go look at it yourself. Look at all the science out there. Just Google CBD and Alzheimer's. Just Google it, man. CBD and whatever. Just Google this stuff. It's crazy. Opioid receptors are magnets for addicts. CBD is better, right, Jen Lenlong? And she's a nurse. That's my CBD nurse right there. But the bottom line is when you have those endocannabinoid system in this whole body, it's always been there. Guess what? If you're watching this, you got one. Say, I got one. It's an endocannabinoid system. Some people are like, I don't know if I have that. Oh, guess what? If you're a mammal, you have that. My girl dog Zoe that's sleeping right there, she's got one too. Okay? We all got them. Everyone's got them, right? Everyone's got them, but no one's nourishing it. That's a problem for me because we're relying on the caffeine, nicotine, sugar, and now the opioids. I can't freaking stand it, you guys. I can't stand it. I got to say something because it's driving me crazy. When people are like, I don't know if I should do CBD. I'm like, yeah, maybe you should go freaking smoke another cigarette or have another can of Coke. Okay? Because the bottom line is that stuff will kill you. It will kill you. I'm just going to tell you, at the end of the day, you can't escape it because it's a accumulation effect that's happening in your body. We need to nourish our endocannabinoid system. We need to nourish the CBD1 receptors in our brain, the CBD2 receptors in our gut. Did you hear Randy Schrader last night talking about how it's linked to weight loss? Why? Because it controls hunger. It controls mood. It controls sleep. And we know when we're sleeping better, we have an easier time losing weight. We know that it controls hormones. Hormone regulation is like, that's what I've been talking about for 11 years is hormone regulation with weight loss. CBD is like the mother load for PFC. You got to eat right. You got to eat your macros. Your macros are your protein, fat, and carbs. But guess what? If you don't have the CBD nourishing the system, guess what happens? Not enough is what's happening. Not enough. So to make a long story short, think about it. I want you to think about it. Sugar is acceptable. Cigarettes are still acceptable. Alcohol is acceptable. Are we in agreement that all these things can kill people? Opioids are now acceptable. 6,700 pills per person in one town. Just go read my Facebook post from last night. 6,700 pills. 6,700 pills of opioids. You want to talk about some mood-altering medication, that would be it. And that is like a heroin addict. Those opioids are like heroin. They're like heroin to your brain. Ding! Your brain's all... And so you think that you feel great, nothing hurts and all this stuff. And you go through life kind of, I think, flatline because there's no like... It like shuts down these opioid... these receptors, not the opioid receptors. It shuts down these receptors in your brain that really can... Like I know somebody that has been addicted to drugs for a long time and certain things that make us happy. Let me give you an example. This is a great example. You're going to want to share this. Hit the share button. When you smell coffee, have you ever walked in and smelled coffee and you like love that smell of coffee? I mean, I'm not even a coffee drinker and I like it. Or you smell something that is like aromatic. And what happens is after you've done so many drugs and after you've done so many opioids, it literally shuts that sensation off. So what happens is you don't have that feel-good feeling from the great things in life, like smelling a fresh cup of coffee or smelling a rose. Like you don't have that anymore. Isn't it crazy that once you've done those drugs and those opioids and heroin and things like that, it shuts down that part of your brain where you don't get satisfaction from those things anymore. How crazy is that? Huh? And so what happens with the endocannabinoid system and CBD is it nourishes all those receptors in our brain and our gut. Now remember, this controls everything from mood to sleep to hormone regulation. Say that again. Hormone regulation, mood, sleep, hormone regulation, depression, anxiety, migraines, ADD, ADHD. I mean, I could just name the list, you guys. Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, MS. Oh, dude, I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. I can't even think about what your brain controls. Everything, right? This is all transmission going on in the brain, right? And your gut. What does your gut control? 98% of our immune system, we've always learned, is in our gut health. So if our gut health is good, we have a stronger immunity. If our gut health sucks, guess what? We're getting sick all the time. So people that have poor gut health with Crohn's, colitis, IBS, constipation, just gut problems because they've been either drinking sugar aspartame, eating a bunch of bread that which turns to sugar. Maybe they're smoking cigarettes. Maybe they're on opioids on top of that, and they're on all these pain management medications. Your gut just sucks, and you wonder why you're sick all the time. This is just not even, it's unbelievable when I started voicing it out loud. I had to do this Facebook Live because I was like, do you guys think it's weird that all of those things are okay in our country? Sugar, cigarettes, alcohol, they all kill. Opioids, which now we show, the opioid crisis is real. What happens is, I learned what happens with opioids. Get this. When you take opioids, and people that are taking too many opioids, when you go to sleep at night, do you know what happens? You have something like with your larynx and all that, your body, because you mentally have all these opioids going on, your body forgets to breathe. Your brain freaking forgets to breathe, and people are dying in their sleep because of opioid overdose. Do you guys think this is nuts? Like, this is crazy train. Okay, nuts, right? How many deaths last year from opioid overdose? I can't even remember. It's just ridiculous. It's like, I mean, the cause of death last 300,000 or something ridiculous like that from drugs that were rightly prescribed. Are you guys understanding this? This is so crazy. It's going to take an uprising. It's going to take a revolution for people to say, hell no. You know what? I don't want alcohol to soothe my mood. I don't want sugar to make me fatter and sicker. I want CBD. I want CBD. You know why? Because my body has the endogenous cannabinoid system in it. I was born with it, baby. I was born this way. I was born this way, and this little system hasn't been nourished in 60 years because those buggers classified marijuana and hemp together, although one is high in THC and the other's obviously not. It's high in CBD. Remember, we don't get people high. We get people healthy. That's what I do for a living. I get people healthy for a living, not high. If I was prescribing you an opioid, I'd be getting you high for a living. I don't get you high for a living. I get you healthy for a living. And what happens is when your opioids are firing from those, the opioid receptors are firing from those drugs, so it feels good instantly, but guess what? You become reliant on it. And it's never enough. And it's more and more and more. And pretty soon you're taking 6,700 pills per person in like a 6-year window. Are you kidding me? 6,700. Go read my Facebook post from last night. It was like on the Evening Report. They did a big story on it, you guys. This is all true stuff I'm saying to you. I just don't know if you've had it concise like this. So the bottom line is, CBD is going to help get you free. And what it's going to get you free of, it's going to get you free of those crazy chronic addictions to those damn opioids that people are consuming by the handfuls. It's nuts. If one's good, 7 is better. I mean, I met a gal once, she was taking 7 Vicodin a day. 7! For neck pain. Guess what? Because 1 didn't work anymore, 2 didn't work anymore, 3 didn't work anymore. Pretty soon she's taking 7. And guess how often she was pooping? Because I don't know if you know this about a lot of opioids and pain relievers and things like that. They constipate you. So guess what happened? This woman would go 3 weeks without a bowel movement. Where was all her crap going in her body is the question of the hour. Because when we excrete our feces, guess what that is? That is like the stuff our bodies are not utilizing. It's like the toxins, the garbage. We get rid of it, right? So if you're not crapping for 3 weeks, where is that crap going is the question of the hour. Like, it's just not good. And we know that a toxicity, 2 things why you get disease. There's 2 reasons why you get disease. Malnourishment and toxicity, or maybe a combination of both. And in some cases, a very rare example, there might be a family dynamic, like a gene or something like that in family. But again, that's less than 20%. Most of it can be controlled with these 2. Too much toxicity or not enough nutrient density, because we're eating all sugar and giving our kids macaroni and cheese every day with hot dogs and wondering why our kids are sick. Okay? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Do you guys understand this? So say it with me. CBD is for me. CBD is for me. CBD is for me. CBD is for me. It's not for some people. It's for every single one of you watching. It's for every one of your children. It's for your parents. It's for your grandparents. My girl dog, no, she's in the back seat. She's on CBD. I give her CBD every day. If you're a mammal, you need CBD. Okay? If you're a lizard, I don't think you need it. Okay? Because I don't think lizards are mammals, are they? I don't think so. Okay? So the bottom line, they're a reptile. Okay? For your mammal, you need it. Horses need it for pain management, for things like arthritis and things like that. You guys got to get on this train of thought. It literally controls everything in the entire body. It controls everything in the entire body. And if it's been chronically malnourished, of course you have sleep apnea. Of course you have diabetes. Of course you have anxiety. Of course you have depression. Of course you have constipation. Of course you have Crohn's. Of course you have fibromyalgia. Duh. Like, we've been relying on sugar, nicotine, opioids now. We've been relying on these now. Or what? Sugar, nicotine, what did I say? Alcohol. Some people can't wait for Friday. They're pumping the fist on Friday night because they're going to go out again. I'm like, what are you doing? Your gut's already shot. Sugar, nicotine, alcohol, and opioids. This is what our country is addicted to. These 4 things. And guess what? We're dying from it. So you better get your head in the game. You better get your head in the game. I'm telling you what, there's a reason why they're going to test all the NFL football players with medical marijuana CBD. You know why? Because it acts as a neuroprotective, a second helmet to the brain. There's a reason why boxers use it. There's a reason why MMA fighters use it. There's a reason why professional athletes, there's a reason why ours was the first product to be 100% THC free and WADA approved for the World Anti-Doping Association so that all the athletes can consume it. Are you guys hearing me? This is a big deal. If you've had gut problems, if you've had cancer in your family, if you've had these things, you need to get on the CBD train and you need to do it today. And don't let one more person fear you, scare you, say, well, is that legal? Well, guess what is legal? Alcohol, opioids, sugar, and cigarettes. Maybe you should go do some of those. Or maybe not. Just saying. You guys get what I'm saying? You got to get your head in the game. You are your own health advocate. No one will take care of your body or your endocannabinoid system except you. Okay? That was just my thoughts for the day. I love you. God bless you. Get a hold of me if you want to nourish your endocannabinoid system. Adios.